Darlene Morgan here, Morgan Law Group. One frequently asked question that I get is, how often do we need to update our estate planning documents? And it's always an important question because there's not a right answer, but I do like to give people some guidance, some general information, so that they have an idea of kind of the process of when they would need to update it. Sometimes it's really obvious that your wills and trusts need to be updated, but there are other times when it's easy to overlook it as life gets so busy. So whenever there's a major change in your life, that would be a good time to call your estate planning lawyer. So things like, if you get married, definitely a time to contact your estate planning lawyer. If you get divorced, definitely you're going to want to contact an estate planning lawyer. Birth of a child, definitely at the birth of your first child, and then from there on, it depends on whether you have to update it or just kind of check in when you have additional kids. People often do take a re-look at their estate plan when they have grandkids. Sometimes that will spur a change. For example, we do have people who have gotten a divorce and they've never updated some of their beneficiary designations, or maybe never updated their will. So that would be obvious, but it is easy to overlook in the middle of such a big life change that people often forget to do that kind of thing. Another big indicator is when there is a health situation, whether it be a major illness or a surgery. Sometimes that will prompt people to think about their estate plan and contact their attorney for potentially an update or a review of their estate plan. And then your trust and estates lawyer should be able to review your plan with you and to go over, refresh your memory on the details of how the plan works. The big ticket items are who you've named as your decision makers. Are those people still who you want to be in those important roles of trustee, executor, power of attorney? Also the distribution plan. So is this still how you would want your assets distributed? And that's, that could change based upon your own wishes, and sometimes it never changes. Another time to consider contacting your trust and estates attorney is if your net worth changes. Typically, if it changes for the positive, you're going to want to consider making sure all your assets are still properly titled, any new assets are properly titled, and making sure that you've thought through the distribution of any assets that, if your net worth has grown, sometimes people reconsider. People also like to consider asset protection. If there's been a big change in their business or their assets, maybe they've acquired real estate, that would be a time when you'd want to consider asset protection for some of those new assets, or now you may be more vulnerable to being sued if your net worth has increased. If you've purchased life insurance, then that is also a good time to contact your trust attorney so that he or she can advise you on how to name the beneficiaries, whether that insurance should flow through your trust or through a life insurance trust. So you may not need to make changes, but I like for people to at least internally check in, maybe review their own documents every year. And you may not need to call your estate planning attorney, but if there's been any changes on your side with your just life transitions, with your net worth, then you would want to contact your estate planning attorney from there. So those are good. It's a good idea to refresh yourself on your plan, maybe on an annual basis. The way we handle things here is that we have regular communications with our clients so that they are hearing from us on a regular basis as well. So if they forget to contact us, we are there to be able to remind them about when's a good time to reach out. And if you've worked with an attorney to keep your wills and your trust fresh and updated over time, that's really important, because what's the most important thing is that they actually work when you need them the most. And making sure that they're updated is an important part of making sure that your documents are going to work and that they'll be legally valid at that point.